ladies and gentlemen, I usually start these episodes with a lot more energy and a lot more joy and comedic relief, as you know. But today I need to bring more attention to what's happening in my home country in Iran right now. Mahsa Amini was murdered by the morality police, which is bullshit. It's not really serving its purpose. In fact, a morality police is already an incorrect and an inhumane policy and organization that what its real purpose is to just control women and control their rights. And every woman has their own choice, and that just does not apply to America. It applies to all over the world. So please share. It's all over social media right now. There's been protests. Now we're on day 4. And I hope it doesn't end until that dictatorship is finished with and the people can have their nation back. It's no longer Islamic Republic of Iran, but rather it's Islamic Republic versus Iran. So everyone, please spread the word, spread the news. We're all human beings. These borders are all fake. We all need to love each other and protect each other and let each other be us. Let us be us. Let the women be them. Let the people be them.
You could piss away money on your own time. We need a shift of funds.
Make it look like a lateral move.
Right. The manufacturer is going under, but maybe the supplier or the umbrella company?
Foxconn owns the vehicle manufacturer.
Perfect. Shift to Foxconn, we'll take a small hit, and won't look like we're cashing out.
Do we tell our clients?
Are you stupid?
We have an obligation.
Do you want to talk about red flags going up? What's the SEC going to do if they see a handful of billionaires dumping the same shares at the same time?
So, we say nothing?
Like we tell all our investors, there are no sure things. I made the right call.
You made the right diagnosis.
What's the difference?
You can't jab a needle into someone's arm without telling them what's happening.
Even if it saves our life?
Okay, look.
I get it. People don't love my approach. I'm brash. I skip the pleasantries. My dad died of cancer when I was a kid. 10 doctors told him he was fine before the 11th said he had 4 months to live. I don't want another little girl to go through that. Sometimes that means taking matters into my own hands.
The idea of racing people is romantic. The reality of washing snot-streaked clothing 4 times a day makes me want to drink myself to death. Oh, speaking of, what time does the Applebee's open?
What about those moments when your children need you? When there's no one more important than mommy?
Oh, you mean when they're grinding calluses onto my nipples with their gums? Or the other day when one of them wiped a shit mustache on the other one's face? Fuck yeah. They open at 11.
And now, I'd like to move on to episode 82 of Podcast. And I have a very special treat for you guys today. Speaking of being children of immigrants, myself included, I was born in Iran but raised here. But my fellow actress, producer, as well as a great friend already. I met her in a acting class together, and we've just been finding a lot out about each other and how much we have in common. Specifically, being children of immigrants and pursuing the art of acting. And I'm trying to get her into comedy as well. So without further ado, my good friend, Katheryne Wynn, she goes by Kat. How you doing, Katheryne?
I'm good. It just worked out. So,
hey, yeah, nice.
I got a sound mind, sound body.
Well, we have. I need to still work out. I'll probably do it after this episode. But Man, so I read your IMDb. You were born in Houston.
Yep.
So
But
talk
I
about.
do not talk like a Texan.
That's cool. That's cool. What is How long were you in Houston? Let's start there.
I was born and raised in Houston. Houston is, those of you that have not had the opportunity to visit there, it's almost sea level, completely flat. There's no hills. When I grew up, we used to go to Colorado to see mountains. So I had to drive across the state of Texas. Basically, driving my Honda across from Houston to LA, going through Texas is half of the trip.
Man.
So technically, Houston is closer to Louisiana. It's like 80 miles from the border.
Right.
So, like, Houston to El Paso is literally, I think, 900 miles. El Paso is just, then you get into the next city in New Mexico, Las Cruces, it's called. But that is the halfway point between Houston and Los Angeles.
Wow.
So, and Texas, Texas is like its own country. People think they have a large economy there. Like here too, California.
I think it's bigger than my whole country of Iran.
And Houston's not a typical city. There are a lot of foreigners that live there, but it is a city of technical people, scientists, engineers.
That's a good segue. That's a good segue.
Yeah, that was the path that was planned for me for my young age.
Right. That's right.
Right.
So that's what I want to talk about. Now, your passion is in dance and acting. Ballet.
I actually had an initial interest in acting when I was 5 years old, having two foreign parents. My mom is from Romania. My dad was born in Burma, but he was Japanese. They met, they came to the United States, and during Nixon era, 1972.
Wow.
So they had quite a story. But I was first imitating my mother, who talks a little bit like this. And then I was imitating people in school. One kid from North Carolina, and then, hi, my name is Croft Thomas, and I'm from North Carolina. And so I used to imitate them at home. So I realized I have this gift of doing voices from a young age. But there was no avenue for me to, go about doing acting. So I was always in the arts, though. I'm classically trained in piano and ballet. And I became very obsessed with ballet, especially as a teenager when I had some major family problems when I was about 12 and a half, 13.
Oh, wow.
And it was my escape. And it was, but I have to say, it's a little bit masochistic. But my dream has always been to act.
Masochistic how? Like the field of ballet, or is masochistic?
Yeah, it's so repetitive, the movements, and you try to attain this perfection that never exists. Like the elements of ballet are basically, are your legs high? They call it extension. Are you a great jumper? Are you a great turner? And it doesn't stop because the standard in ballet is heightened every 10 years, they say, every generation. Girls used to do 3 pirouettes. Now you have girls on Instagram doing like 15, 14 in Japan. It's like insane. So it's kind of like becoming like the circus a little bit.
At some point, is health becoming an issue in that field, do you think?
I think people are more wise with, taking care of their body because the body is used as an instrument. You have to feed it properly. But there's lots of eating disorders in the dance community because you have to try to look a certain way, but you have to perform also.
Yeah.
So it's contradictory a little bit to have the idea. So I would say it's more open towards ballet bodies, but for the mainstream, you can't carry excess weight and you got to always watch what you eat, but you're always active, but you're prone to injury.
Right.
And, that's the thing, and trying to do something that's unnatural for the body. That's why ballet dancers train for so long, because you're trying to make something natural that you're not meant to do. We're not meant to turn out like ducks and walk around and lift your leg a certain way and point your foot. So
Yeah.
So, but I have a host of injuries, and but I still dance. It's my lifestyle, not like I used to.
Yeah.
But it did give me the discipline for acting, I would say.
Oh, I can totally see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very disciplined form of dance for sure. How was it?
There's a big difference. I had this conversation with someone. There's a big difference between ballet and acting in that, and you might agree with me here, as you're a musician, right? You're trained in music. In the arts, you can see the technique more. Like ballet's done all over the world, so you could see if someone's a great turner, a great jumper. It's very visible. But in acting, it's a little bit more nebulous, the technique, because it's part of the character. So I think that and especially acting, you're not trying to attain any perfection. Ballet is very geared for technical perfection. The art is based on the technique.
I see. Yeah.
Acting, I think they're integrated. It's very hard to pinpoint it a little bit.
It's true. Depending on there's so many elements too that can affect the approach in acting.
Yeah.
As you and I have been practicing.
Yeah.
And you're way more seasoned in acting than I am. But how was it though? Because this is really the real something that we really agreed on as we were discussing our upbringings. How was it growing up loving the arts, but growing up in a family that really pushed the sciences?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, even though I have a European mother and an Asian dad, education was utmost. It was foremost, priority. Which even I'm raising a child now, I agree that education is vital. But I was basically groomed from a very young age to become like my dad, an engineer. I was, so I took that identity. I wanted to please my father. My mom was the one that put me in the arts, but my dad always kind of raised me to think like the three main jobs are lawyer, doctor, and engineer or scientist. So I had that mindset for a while, even until I went to college. Even I was pushed into, I did not want to study what I studied in school, engineering.
Yeah.
But I figured if my dad is helping me pay for my education, and I still got loans though, then I do need to get a worthwhile degree and then pursue what I want.
And the fact that you pushed, I feel like the discipline you learned as a young kid may have helped you in college to be like, I need to get through this. Like the little girl in you, I feel like wanted to still, get that approval from your dad, right?
Yes.
From your father. And I get that. I 100% get that.
I think in a way also I try to get approval from my husband because he's not an actor. And, and acting is very subjective.
Sure.
As we know, everyone has an opinion. So
it's true. And so how did you were the only child, right?
Only child, yeah. But you know what? I told people in school when I was like 10, 9 or 10, I made up a story that I have an older sister.
Wait, what? I want to hear this.
Yeah. So my dad used to go to school and drop me off on his way to work. And they said, Mr. Wynn, my last name's Wynn. They said, Mr. Wynn, where is her older sister? And then my dad said, what older sister? And then I said, she's busy. Like I'd always make up something. She's busy. She's studying. Like always an excuse.
Right.
So I had a big imagination growing up. We went to the Houston shipyard when I was younger. I picked the biggest ship in the yard and I said, my dad owns that. They said, well, my dad goes to school. Mr. Wynn, you can't believe you own the Carnival Cruise Lines. And then my dad said, I don't own any Carnival Cruise Line.
That's funny. Oh my God.
So I had an active imagination from a young age.
You had a glamorous imagination.
Yes, I did.
You wanted to own the ship.
Big ship,
No, so, that's cool. That's
yeah.
That's funny though. And so But yeah, so you were the only child in real life.
Yeah.
and, and then you told me over the phone that you did become rebellious at some stages in your life.
Yeah.
Now, you can go as far into that as you like, but I was
Yeah,
just
I
curious.
would say like even in my years in college, I grew up very sheltered. You know, no boyfriend until I was in college. Of course, high school was always a priority. Get out of high school, enter college. But I did have my fun in college and beyond that. So I hit the party circuit. I think after I graduated, I was going out like 4 or 5 times a week.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I segued into teaching math because I figured it's flexible for me to do what I want, as opposed to being an engineer sitting 8 hours a day,
Oh, yeah.
7 to 4 or 9 to 5.
Okay.
And I remember at school, like during my free period, like during a Tuesday, I would plan out my weekend. Like I was planning out when I was going to go out.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like I'm a mother now with a child, and I still get those emails from the past, like join this club and all these DJs, and I don't live that life anymore.
Well, yeah. No, that's you had to live life, right, in order to figure it out. And as I mentioned to you over the phone, my sister had similar upbringing. Now she moved here from Iran, right, at 14, and so slowly transitioning to a woman in a foreign country at that time for her. My parents were very conservative at the time.
Yeah.
And so it was tough for her as well. And she got married young. She didn't do the college life. She did go to college, but she didn't have that party life because she got married young. She got married at 18, right before her 19th birthday. And then she left. Like that was same rules for my parents for her. You can't date, right? You have to like dating isn't right, this and that. It's a very that part of the world custom to do, right? And the Asian countries, the Eastern European countries, also Middle East and all of that. It's just a lot more conservative. Point of that story is that she and she doesn't mind me saying this on the air. She had her challenges later in life. She missed out on her 20s, really, like as far as like having that single life. She got married in 18, like I said. She had 2 kids, but before 30. So then, then it's like you're a mom. Everything changes, as you know. Being a parent, like that's priority now, right? Like that's all. And so she didn't have that. She didn't have her 30s, and then now she's in her 40s, and she's figuring it out slowly. Her daughters are old enough now that she can kind of start looking inward and trying to heal and trying to kind of patch up the 20s and 30s and make sense of everything. But it is tough. Now, I do give you kudos for being rebellious, because I was rebellious, but it was a lot easier for me to be rebellious as a boy, unfortunately, in that, and being the younger one too. It was my sister always says, when you got away with a lot more shit than I did. And
I gotta say that people in my major were boring too.
Oh,
I was always hanging out in the cinema library. I went to USC where they had a #1 cinema school.
Yeah. So
I was hanging out in the Doheny library. I remember watching Scarface, Godfather.
Yeah.
All those American Me, all those trilogies,
And when you would tell your parents like you want to pursue acting, what was their opinion while you were?
I never told them.
Oh, you never told them?
No, I really delved into acting only until my father died.
Oh my God.
He died, unfortunately, this Monday was 14 years since he died. And, he died, unfortunately, of cancer. But then I went, that was interesting. When he died, that first year, and that was 2008. And if you recall, in 2009, Michael Jackson died.
Yeah.
okay, I have no relation to Michael Jackson or anything, but I read his story and I read how his parents pushed him into the music industry and everything. I started crying.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, he is an entertainer and this is what I wanted to do my whole life. And I had a realization because I had taken the GRE to enter graduate school after my dad died. So I continued to think like I have to live for my father and continue his business. He was a petroleum engineer. And I thought, oh, if I get a finance degree, I can supplement my engineering degree, continue my dad's dream.
Yeah.
But, I couldn't think like that anymore.
You were living for him, for his approval.
I was still living for him.
Yeah.
And I came to a realization, and I went on vacation by myself. I charged $3,000. It was an expensive trip, 5 days to Tahiti.
Mm-hmm.
I went by myself in 2009. And then my best friend told me that you are the one that creates your own happiness in life. And I really was at peace with myself. I tried to escape as far away from Hollywood as possible. And that year, 2009, I went in like January, I remember. My dad died in September 2008. I was in a kayak going, canoeing around. And there was a film crew there shooting Couples Retreat with Vince Vaughn.
Oh my God.
Go figure. So
Yeah.
I'm like thousands of miles away and I see a film being shot.
Yeah. That's a sign, honestly.
I think it was a sign, yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
But I came back, and I'll tell you, when I came back, this is another story, but I was always eligible for the union, the Screen Actors Guild.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I decided to fork over. I think in 2009 it was 2,200. Now it's much more expensive.
Oh, wow.
But I paid the 2,200 and I joined Screen Actors Guild. And I just threw myself submitting for everything. And you know what? I was still like getting called in for auditions, and I was relatively brand new in acting, even though I had experience and I did extra work when I was younger.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So in my early 20s, I was on lots of sets, but I was doing extra work.
Right.
Some of that led to bit parts on TV where I got chosen. Ironically, those small little credits were when I was not trying at all.
Huh.
And now I see how difficult it is that I'm in the union, and I did a student film here, I did a student film there, and then I did something for the graduate school, and then, but
You definitely have used both sides of your brain. It looks like.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of people are either one side or the other side, and I think we learn everything we are put through in life, like the timing of it all. I feel it just strengthens us for what we're really meant to do. Like all the shitty days of, like, maybe for you, all the shitty days of studying to get your degree, or just not pursuing acting and just focusing on pleasing your parents.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like all that hardship groomed you to have that tougher skin, to have that tougher mindset to pursue it. And I only say this because I'm also in that same light, Now I was lucky enough to be able to major in music, which is, for Persian, that's not that really common. So similar to you, a lot of Persian parents push their kids to either go in the medical route, science, or law.
Mm-hmm.
And I did start majoring in math initially before I did initially, but I realized I'm not that smart, and I wasn't passionate for it. But I couldn't fight. I couldn't just keep fighting that and get through another 3 years of schooling just to get a degree I didn't want. So I just switched it up. And again, knock on wood, my parents were very supportive of my music pursuit. Now, my dad, he was a musician, learned by ear as a kid. My mom was a vocalist, a singer. and that's actually how they met. Those two.
Interesting.
Yeah, they met through music. But so in a way, my dad was like, this is an extension of me. Like, so he was supportive of that. Now, here's the funny part. I still teach music, as you know, and I sing here and there, but and it's always going to be a part of my life. But when I got separated and I came here and I told my parents, hey, I'm separating. I need a place to stay temporarily. Also, I'm going to pause music. And then they got excited. Like, I'm going to pursue some.
Right.
Like, okay, he's going to get a quote unquote real job.
Office job.
And then I said, actually, no, I'm going to pursue comedy and acting now. They immediately booked a one-way flight to Iran. I joke that it was coincidence that happened, but it was just funny because it's part of my stand-up too. I say that, but yeah, it's
it's like after I graduated college, my parents assumed I'm going to move back home.
Right.
I stayed out here, wanted my freedom.
By the way, does your mom did she still treat you like you were that little girl?
My mom lives with us.
Right.
And well, the thing is that my mom is like, she's very conservative.
Yeah.
I joke with her like she lives in the 1800s. Like I'll go to a table read. We do these for acting. They're free events. When writers are there and they write scripts and then we interpret it. And I have to wear something. My mom gives me an apron. I said, Mom, I don't exactly tell her each role I'm doing, but I just tell her I'm not working on Little House on the Prairie. Right. Dressed like I'm serving milk or something.
No, I listen. My mom was one of those moms. She still does.
Yeah.
She has a conservative mind, but if you kind of crack it a little bit, she opens up, and that's kind of how my mom is. But oh my God, some of the movies when Blockbuster was still open back in the day.
I remember Blockbuster.
Yeah, and we would rent movies, right? And there's like a kissing scene, an innocent kissing scene. My mom is doing this. Where is the remote? Where is the remote? We have to fast forward this. So I'm just like, and she still does this even on like streaming platforms. I'm like, Mom, it's hard to it's like it's just a kissing scene. So now she's like, now she doesn't say it, but I just look at her in the corner. She's just biting her nails.
Did you tell her there's that leads to more things? No, just
Oh, sometimes my dad reminds her because my dad is more chill about this stuff. So he's like, oh, what? You don't want to be reminded? That's my dad's flirting with my mom.
How do you think you got here?
Oh man, don't start that with her. She's gonna be like, she'll just start cussing me out in Farsi. But it's
speaking of comedy, I was gonna say like my husband who's in lighting, we actually joke around quite a bit. Like after we have our rendezvous, it's challenging because we have a child and my mother lives here.
Right.
So we have one room where the action takes place. And after that rendezvous, we always come up with jokes.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So, and then I had an acting teacher in the past, and he said sex is the root of comedy.
Listen.
And I thought to myself, that's got to be right, because after the nookie, all the jokes come out.
Yeah, I 100% believe it because, I mean, sex is funny. Sex is hilarious. Like the things we think about, right? It's just hilarious. Like when we're in the streets in a normal setting, like, and then you do that in your privacy, it's hilarious. Like how we switch it up. And listen, there's a lot of comics who have an hour-long special just on that topic. So
but my life feeds into comedy. I believe when I introduce myself to casting people, I say my house is like King of Queens. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
With a child running the whole house.
Right.
I got my mom, who's in her, early 70s, and then my husband is older than me. He's in his 50s, so he thinks his way, and then you know, like it's all kinds of like just when I'm arguing with my husband, my mom gets in the conversation. And then
That's yeah.
yeah, she'll say, Katheryne, I didn't raise you in a barn. You know, because, you know, my husband talks like a sailor, flailing the F word, and then I retaliate and I say F word back, and then my daughter's in the other room, and then I tell him, let's take it to the garage. You know, I'm going down. This is going down outside. So
No, you're right. That's a sitcom. Your house is a sitcom.
it's kind of a sitcom, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Listen, I get it. Yeah. Well, listen, that's we only scratched the surface with this episode, and I hope that you would be open to coming back on my podcast, because I want to, and if anything I can help promote, like if you're whenever you have opportunities that you want to share, just let me know. I consider us friends now, like as a result of this class that we're together with.
I did write a play, and I postponed it because of COVID. I was trying to find another agent. It's called It's a Mother.
It's a Mother. Okay.
And based on my relationship with my mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it have to play imitate my mother.
That's great.
I plan to put it up, but COVID got in the way.
Yeah. Are you gonna resume that? Are you gonna try to put that?
I think I will. Now that I spoke to you, I just got the other actress that's gonna play the shrink.
Yeah.
And I found someone that will play the shrink. It's kind of a one-woman show.
Got it. I was gonna ask, is it a big cast or not?
No, it's just two of us.
Just the two.
And then I plan to wear the aprons and stuff like that. Cooking, struggling with the cooking and all that.
Listen, that's hilarious because it's true, and the truth is so funny. The truth is
I'm seeing that.
It's and everyone, you have to get on Kat's Instagram, and by the way, plug your Instagram if you will.
Oh yeah, should I type it in the chat here?
Oh no, just say it and I'll have it. It'll come up on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, does everyone see the spelling of my name?
Yes.
Okay, so then you put @ and then to stick my middle name in there, Katheryne Eva Wynn. EVA.
Katheryne Eva Wynn.
Here, I'll write right here. Katheryne Eva Wynn.
And there it is. Yep. And I'll have that on the it'll be here on the screen. Give Kat a big follow and let her know you want to see her production of her playing her mother.
It's a mother.
It's a Mother, it's called. It's a Mother, it's called. Yes.
And at the beginning of the play, I came up with the idea. We're going to have a collage, and we're going to show like a mothership, a motherboard, a mother of a lion, mother, and then it's a mother,
Yeah. Are you planning to have any cameos from your father's side or no?
I didn't think about that, but that could be. Yeah, still in development.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes of that. That sounds really funny and promising. Oh, and get on Kat's Instagram and make her do her 3-minute comedy. I'm trying to get her to do it. So she's trying to get into it. And I think you're really funny, and I feel like you have stories that people are going to relate to, and that's what makes it funny. So I helped a foreigner before with the green card. Yeah, that's a whole comedy thing. Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God, this guy, he was a piece of work.
I need to learn impressions from you also. You're really good at that as well. Well, cool, Kat. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. Thank you. This has been episode 82 on Fumble Podcast. Give me a follow. Give me a super like. Give me a subscription. As you see on my posts, I say subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yes, subscribe. I forget the B in the word. Subscribe to my channel, por favor. I thank you guys for getting on. I'm Pej the Maniac on all social media platforms. If you're in the Northern California area, come out and to my open mic. It's now every Saturday at Front Street Studios. We had our inaugural open mic last Saturday, and it was a hit. A lot of people loved it. And thank you guys that came out and supported all the comics. We got the second one. The sequel is coming up this Saturday, the 24th of September. Now, by the time you hear this, it would be after September 24th, but come out to the next one, which would be the end of September. So, follow me.
That's awesome. You're doing it on Saturday, prime time.
Saturday evenings. Yes, Saturday evening open mics. That's right. Thanks to my good friend Dennis McBride. He offered his studio and he supports all the arts, and he's having open mic comedy night, and we mix music into it too, which is great. It's a whole vibe. So DM me if you have any questions about that. Follow Kat. Thank you so much.
And I promise you live entertainment. If you follow me, I only discuss entertainment. I do not discuss politics or religion.
Hey, there we go. That's right.
I'm here on Earth to entertain you.
Yes, as my hero Freddie Mercury said, let me entertain you. There we go, guys. We're going to end it on that. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace out.